Alright, so I am going to pick up from, well, not picking up from where I was yesterday. So yesterday, what I was trying to achieve. The goal behind this project is to get Docker images, Linux Docker image, like what would you call it? So Docker images, Docker containers that are Linux containers running on top of Docker. I need to build those using Mac. I want to use a Mac to build those, and so I'm trying to use Nix to do that because everything at work we use Nix for everything. So I want to use Nix for building Docker images on a Mac, but building Linux binaries inside of that. The way that people do this at the moment is by spinning up Docker, running Nix inside of Docker, configuring it all themselves, running some scripts to set up environment variables, and then they can build Docker images from Mac using Nix. So I'm trying to make it so that you can run a script, source some environment variables, and you're done. I'm just trying to make it very easy to set up. I'm also trying to make it lightweight so that you don't have to use Docker. So yesterday I screwed around a lot with VPN Kit. VPN Kit is supposedly a way of getting networking and exposing ports to your host, to your container from your host. But I haven't been able to be very successful with that. I spent about 2 hours on it yesterday. I screwed around with it, and I've had a little bit more success today. I spent probably an hour, a couple of hours on this morning, and I've had a little bit more success. I'm actually doing outbound connections. So you can see here. So this is running. Difference between yesterday and today is that I've discovered Linux Kit, which is a tool that wraps up HyperKit and VPN Kit. So I found Linux Kit because I was searching for documentation on VPN Kit, and where I found it on GitHub was actually in the Linux Kit repository. So I decided to switch over to using Linux Kit because what I thought Linux Kit was previously was that it was like a tool to build Linux images, but it turns out it's also a tool for running them as well using HyperKit. It's got a heap of different backends, like you can use QEMU in that as well, but I want to use the HyperKit one because that will be faster on the Mac. So I found Linux Kit, and so I started changing over to using Linux Kit. And so this is actually a Docker. What would you call it? It's a kernel built using Nix. It's actually just downloaded from the Nix repository because they build kernels and they upload them. So it's a kernel built through Nix, and I'm running that kernel inside of Linux Kit. So this is actually Linux running inside of Linux Kit right now. What I thought was interesting was that I actually got, yesterday I was having a lot of problems around the P9 mount, trying to get like the Plan 9 file system mounted inside of something, just trying to list what the contents is, and I actually got that working inside of this. After I started looking at the Linux Kit repo, there's actually a image that mounts this directory, so I just copy and pasted the command over, and this is what I got. So I can actually supposedly create port forts from inside of here. And I started reading some. I've been playing around with this for maybe an hour or so now, trying to get port forwarding to work, and I can't get it to work. I expose the port, and it actually says, okay, I'm forwarding the port. I'm exposing the port, and so it says it's exposing. I tried and connect to it from outside of the thing, from my host, try and connect to my container from the host, and it just doesn't work. So I went through the GitHub issues looking. I thought maybe there must be a bug somewhere. I had a look, and I don't fully understand it, but it seems like you're meant to use expose port, VPN Kit expose port. So exposing the port through this interface here. So getting VPN Kit to expose the port. You're also meant to use something called VPN Kit forwarder. And I tried compiling VPN Kit forwarder, and I had huge problems with that yesterday. I actually spent probably like an hour and a half trying to compile VPN Kit forwarder, and I just couldn't do it. But from the looks of from reading from some of the issues, it looks like VPN Kit expose port, you also need to run the forwarder as well. So you expose the port and then you forward it or something. Because I can't even compile the forwarder, this kind of seems like not a solution I want to go with. So I was thinking about it for a little while, and I'm thinking, what I can do is make outbound connections. So DNS isn't quite working, so I need to fix that. But let's say I get the IP address of Google here. So this is the host. This is like actually, this is Mac here, and this is Linux. So in Linux, I can actually, I can actually connect to the outside. I can actually connect to Google. And what's interesting is that inside of here, if you look at sets up this name server thing. I mean, that should be how it gets DNS, but I can actually, if I listen to something outside of here, if I listen on port 8081, I can actually use netcat to connect to this. And you can see that I'm actually sending, like this actually opens up a TCP connection, so I've actually got a TCP connection open. So I'm thinking, what if I run SSH inside of here, run SSHD, but then I use netcat to, or is it, there's SOCAT, isn't there? SocketCat. I'm thinking I might be able to use SocketCat or netcat or something to be able to take port 22 and send it to something over here that's listening to it. So I can actually, outside of here, I'll have something listening on a port, and then I'll connect to that port with SOCAT, I guess it'll be SOCAT. I'll have to look into that. From port 22, I'll just run this in the background, so SSHD will be running and it'll have a socket open up between the things, and so then I can connect here and it will just forward the socket through. I'm hoping that will work. I'm not quite sure if it will, but I'm hoping that'll work. I mean, it's going to basically be a reverse proxy that I built myself. So then I should be able to do SSH, and then the port, so localhost, whatever it opens up, I should be able to do that and then get in. I think that's what I'll be able to do. So I'm going to try and write that now. That's what I'm going to try and do. I might need to figure out whether I can use SOCAT. Is it SOCAT? So I'll need to figure out how to use SOCAT. Bidirectional address. Yeah. If you've got any experience with SOCAT and you're in the stream, that'd be useful. If you could just help me out with figuring out how to use SOCAT, that'd be awesome. LinuxKit is pretty good. I've been using LinuxKit this morning, and yeah, it's just pretty good. It's pretty much what I wanted. Like for example, if I close this down, you can see I can specify in disk. I specified empty. That's actually a file name, but it actually can create a disk for you, which is a problem that I had before. I had to use like the QEMU disk tools to be able to create it, but this one can actually create a disk for me. So that's awesome. So I will write a little bit of a wrapper around LinuxKit, but it's going to be very thin. It's basically going to see, have you already got a, well, yeah, basically, have you got a disk already? If you have, then use it. Otherwise, how big do you want it? Basically, I think that's basically all I'm going to have to ask. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to need an IP address in the end. Actually, I might be able to get rid of that because I'm just going to be doing this reverse proxy thing. So I'm going to get rid of this DH client. I'm also going to get rid of this mounting stuff because I'm not even going to use VPNKit port forwarding. I mean, VPNKit will still be used because VPNKit will do the networking. So it's the way that I can connect to this, to the netcat over here, is through VPNKit. VPNKit routes it through. So I'll use VPNKit for that, but I'm not going to be able to use the VPNKit routing just because I don't know how to use it. Here, what I'll do is, I've got SSHD here somewhere. Yeah, there you go. That's SSHD. I know how you can do like reverse SSH. I wonder if you can do a reverse SSH D. Reverse SSHD would be interesting. I'll quickly Google that. Reverse SSHD. I might actually just Google SSHD search out or something. So this is giving me SSH command to run, so I'll run that. Run in the background. No host keys available, exiting. What? I've had this working previously. No host keys available. I thought we generated one. No host keys available. Because you have to have authorized keys, is that what you have to do? Have authorized keys? No, you have to have an SSH key. Which I've done, I've run an SSH key gen. Yeah, here, this is where the keys are. So I do have the keys. Could not load, invalid format, invalid format, invalid format. Why is it invalid format? I've had this working before. SSH key gen, right? SSH key gen. I don't know what's happening here. Next door. SSH key gen. Dash A mean. Okay, so just empty, empty default key. Invalid format, kilo private, invalid format, that's weird to me. I've had this working before. Yeah, time file. Oh, they're empty, are they? I wonder why they're empty. Okay, it exists now. I don't know, I'll look into that in a minute. It's a bit weird. Okay, cool. So it's running on port 22. I'll background that. Cool. So let's see how. I don't know if we've got SoCat available in here. I don't. Do I? Yeah, I'll have to rebuild it. SoCat reverse. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. I'm seeing someone that set up a proxy command to do SSH. I don't know if I need to do that. I don't think I need to do that. Oh, I see the proxy command is starting up the local thing to listen to the thing. Okay. I could do that. That could be useful. Yeah, okay. Right, and then that's interesting. I think that will mean that the SSH server will only be accessible while you're actually using SSH, which would be pretty cool. Okay. Okay, so let's rebuild this so I've got SoCat available. Where do I export the path? There we go. Add SoCat, but I'm also going to add that line above. Add netcat. Okay, what's this mean then? Okay, I should be able to rebuild. So this is building a next door. Hey Paul, how's it going? Thanks for your help yesterday. You probably didn't see the beginning of this. What I've found is that I've basically given up on VPN-Kit itself. When I was looking for the VPN-Kit documentation, and I found Linux-Kit. After I was looking at Linux-Kit, it seems to wrap HyperKit and VPN-Kit in a pretty useful way. So I want to reuse that. I thought previously I had heard of Linux-Kit, but I hadn't really used it, and I thought it was basically just for building Docker images or minimal Linux images, but it's not quite for that. Well, it's not just for that. It's also for running HyperKit images. So I've got my kernel here. I'm building my init.rd right now, and so I should be able to boot that in Linux-Kit, and that's been pretty good. Inside of that, actually, it automatically provides the Plan 9 mount that we were having troubles with yesterday. So I was actually able to mount that and actually able to manipulate the exposed ports inside of the Plan 9 file system. So that was good. I got that far. But even after I set up the exposed ports, I couldn't access the ports from the host. So everything said okay, I'm all set up, I'm port forwarding, and you could actually connect to it, but it just wouldn't forward it to the container. Like you'd have something, I had something running that would actually listen to the port. VPN-Kit would actually listen to the port, but when you connected to it, it just didn't route through to the container. And it turns out, I mean, I had to read some GitHub issues about VPN-Kit to figure out where I'm going wrong. And it looks like you also need to run VPN-Kit forwarder. And so that was the thing that I wasn't able to compile yesterday, so I'm basically giving up on that. It also seems like it's a bit complicated that I have to run VPN-kit expose port, use the plain 9 file system, and then use the forwarder. So I was thinking about it this morning, and I realized that I could probably just do a reverse TCP connection, because what VPN-kit does, what VPN-kit does do is it gives me access to the outside, so I can connect from the container to the host, but I can't go the other way. I can't go the other direction. So I'm thinking, well, if I can connect from here to the host, I'll show you the host. So this is me. This is the host listening on 8081. I can actually connect to that. It's got like a fairly static IP, which is good. That's not good. I've had some problems around the built-in netcat because I'm using core utils. Damn, I don't have access to it. Yeah, there we go. So this one, GNU netcat usually works a bit better. So hopefully this will work now. Otherwise I've screwed up something even worse. Network is unreachable. That was working just a minute ago. That was just working until I rebooted this machine. That's annoying. Oh, I see what's happening. Yeah, okay. I got rid of the DHCP config. Yeah. Okay, if config. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, so you can see that I've got the container connecting to the host. I'll have to chuck this code into my stage init, my setup script. Oh, I've got it already up here. That's what I needed to uncomment. Okay. So yes, so I've got a container connecting to my host. That's all good. So I'm thinking if I can do this, a bit hacky, but what I could do is run SSHD inside of my container, run, I think, SOCAT. I think SOCAT, or maybe netcat. I think SOCAT's probably the right way to go. Use SOCAT to forward from 22, like basically make a reverse SSHD. So go from port 22 to connect to the host, expose it as a port, and then, well, I guess on the host I'll have a listening port, so it will just basically just route between those. A little bit annoying, but I think I should be able to do that. And so I'll have something exposed on the host, which is actually just a reverse SSHD. I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. I don't know, Paul, do you know much about SOCAT? I haven't really used SOCAT. I've done a little tiny bit with SOCAT. So I think this might be looking up a lot of documentation around SOCAT and then pull my hair out about why it doesn't work. You didn't ruin anything by showing up. I've been screwing around all morning with DHCP and stuff. And I'm going to be happy to delete that code in a minute, if this all works. So I should have, oh, I did have the right netcat. Yeah, okay, because I've updated the path. So SOCAT, I should have SOCAT. So let me run SSHD in the background anyway. Good with cats. Yeah. So there we go, we've got SSHD listening on port 22, so I should be able to... I don't even know if that's SH, because it's under there. What is it? It's pretty hard because this is like a serial terminal, it doesn't understand like my backspaces or anything. So it's a little bit annoying to work with, but there we go. Yeah, so I've got SSH running on this. So what I want to do is have a port open over here, and then route from this port 22 to this one, to port 8081. So I'm gonna just basically Google SOCAT and copy and paste things, probably. Okay, listen. I think I should be able to do this. I mean, it seems like probably a hacker thing to do. Like, you know, you're in a firewall and you have SSH running. You want to route it over a network. Like, you should be able to do that, right? I'm just gonna try random things. I'll just copy and paste commands over and just see what happens. What does this do? So that one probably reroutes it from that port. I'll do that. Yeah, okay. So now I've got it listening on port. I've got it listening on that port. Okay. Don't want quite that. I want it to connect to an external port. I want the port over here. I want that one. Connect to that one, yeah. Forwarding. This is basically what this ngrok. I think ngrok. I've used ngrok to do something like this before. When you want to expose like a service to the web. It's listening. I don't really want to listen, do I? Run SSH on the host on the port the container can access and forward a port from the container. SSH on the host. Run SSH on the host. Yeah, on the port the container can access and forward a port from the container. Yeah, okay. SSH port forwarding. Yeah, okay. Forward a port from the container, SSH out to. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's. I could do that. So I know SSH port forwarding. I've done that before, but don't you have to be SSH'd into something to do port forwarding? So you have to be, I mean, like, it sounds like I'd have to do localhost, right? Right, so this would have SSHD running here. So if I have, hang on, I want to get into the container from the host, so the, right, yeah, okay. But wouldn't I have to, how would I do that? Yeah, so I'd have to have SSHD running over here, right? I'd have to have SSHD running over here, then I can, oh, where is that? Okay, so I'm into the host, so if I, what's the flag, it's like, something like that. Is it exposed? I guess I should just connect to it. And is that how I do it? Have I got the other way around? Okay, address already in use. Cannot listen to port. Yeah, okay, so but I'm specifying local. Hang on. So this is forwarding to localhost. Is that what I want? This is forwarding to localhost. No, I don't want that. I want the other way around. I want it to bind on this IP address. Give that a go, I guess. Where is it? There we go. Dash R, what is this? SH. Oh, is that like the reverse of dash L? Local socket, remote socket, is that the difference? Oh, dash L. Yeah, remote socket, that's what I want. Okay, cool. Let's do a dash L. Remote port forwarding failed for listen port 22. Oh, okay, probably need that. It's the other way around. Oh wow, awesome. Nice job, Paul. That's awesome. So hopefully I'm not SSHing into itself. Let's try that. Hopefully I'm SSHing into the container. Yeah, that's the right thing. Cool. So root out. Yeah, needs the key. I actually have the key here somewhere. It looks like it's going to the right place. Where is this? It's in packages. So what this involves is running SSH on your local machine, which is a little bit annoying. I think we can do a little bit better than that, but we'll see. This is awesome that it works though. Applications. Oh no, I've got it under build support. Connection refused. Closed. Did not receive authentication. Why'd it close? That's weird. Ah. There's a password? There's no passphrase on that, is there? Space. Nope. Why did I put a passphrase on it? Why would I do that? Time to regenerate a key, I guess. That's annoying. So what command did I run? Let me put that in here. Run SSH in the background, and then SSH. It was dash R. Which order was it around? I think it was that. Okay, so that should create a reverse proxy. Cool. Or reverse SSH. Okay. And I'll regenerate the key. Because for some reason it's got a password. I can never remember these. What is it? Okay. That's good. Okay, so hopefully rebuilding this Hopefully this should... Hopefully I should better get into this. Hopefully when it starts up, you should have a... You should go straight into SSH. Takes a while. It's not actually doing any building or anything, it's just copying stuff. I guess compressing as well. I think usually kernel images are compressed, I think. Oh, another good thing is that work gave me this to use. This is the interview laptop, and so I've got 16 gigs of RAM now. I'm not using a Mac Mini anymore. And it's also lucky that all my work is in Nix, so I can just SSH in, install Nix, and I'm done. Okay, so this should go straight into SSH reverse port. Authentication failed, too many, okay. I don't think, yeah, it wasn't attached, was it? Yeah. I think the problem was that I didn't have, I have to do like this weird forwarding of the serial port to get it to connect. That's probably the problem. So what was my command? That. Why is it saying pub? Oh, I'm supplying the public key. Oh, that was my problem. I'm in. That was it. That was my problem. I'm supplying the public key. Oh, okay. So that works. That's awesome. That works. So now I also found something else that's going to help me, which I don't have the Nix code here, but there's was it? Should be able to get it. So if I look at Nix profile, under here there should be. It'll be under the libexec or something, right? Where's Nix coming from? Oh, from there. Okay. So there should be build remote. Here we go. And so I was reading through this, trying to figure out, like one thing I don't want to do is really have to use sudo to port 22, because this doesn't even have like an IP address, so it's like I don't want to have to do that. So I'm have to find a way of getting Nix to supply -p to the command when it goes to build something. Took me a while to find, but I did find a flag that lets me do that, so I'm going to use that. It should be under here, SSH. So I found this environment variable, like I said, Nix SSH ops. So I can actually say Nix SSH, oh, wrong thing. Nix SSH ops equals, and then I can say -p. So I should be able to do that. And then when I go and use Nix build, and I have all the other environment variables set up to do a remote build, it should actually just use that port. So once I got this port forwarding done, that's it. I do want to, like, this SSH thing is working, but it does mean that I have to SSH into the host from the container. I could set up like another SSHD on the host, but that seems a little bit dodgy. Wonder if I wonder if I can just do tunneling with SoCat instead though. Maybe I can just do it with Netcat. I wonder if Netcat can do that sort of stuff. It seems like it should be able to. I mean, SoCat is kind of just a more powerful Netcat, I think, right? I mean, it's great that this works. I know this. What I will do is I'll give up on using SoCat for now. I'll pretend that this works well. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, Paul. That's really good. Hang on. So what's this? Is this the? Okay, there we go. Connection refused. So it looks like it closes after a while. Why does it close? So there you go. I'm in over here. Once I close this, does this close? Yeah, it does. So we're on the last one. I think it only lasts one connection, does it? No, it keeps working. Why did I get disconnected before? Anyway, yeah, this is awesome. So what I'm going to do is write a little bit of a wrapper around this so that I can just use Nick's build after this. I can just source the environment variables and have everything done. So I've started writing a script that should have this in it. So I've got HyperKit running. And then, yeah, so these are the environment variables I need to set. I will eventually get back to SoCat, but I do just want to make sure that I can, you know, build a Docker image using this. It's semi-automated enough now that I want to try this. And this will be localized now, won't it? Oh, that's how it will be. It's a little bit annoying, but that's how it's going to be. I'm just going to put everything under one directory at the moment. It looks Linux kit automatically creates like a state directory, so I'm just going to reuse that for my stuff. Hopefully. Probably should. I think I'll make a thing that says like think I'll do something like that in the end. I won't get quite there yet, but I think that'll be the goal, just so that you can source a file and start using the remote builder. I think that'll be a good way to do it. Connection closed by a remote host. That's interesting that it keeps closing it. Maybe there's a keeper left or something. Maybe there's a keeper live or something. Maybe SOCAT will be better in the end, but anyway, this hopefully will do for now. What I probably should do is copy my SSH key over so I don't have to keep typing in a password to this laptop. Is it copy key? SSH copy? Copy ID is it? Might be copy ID. Interesting. Yeah, I think it might be just like a timeout thing in an SSHD. I think it is. I mean, I don't want to modify that because I mean that's modifying like the Mac SSHD. I don't want to do that. It's probably. I think it's that. You shouldn't have to use password to log in. Oh, because that's not where it... Okay, yeah, that's not where it is. Where is that thing? Where is that key? That's what I should probably do, just make it so it sets up the key so I can get in. Oh, cool. Server live interval. I have seen that before. Cool. I think I have to do that at work sometimes. Awesome. So we'll do that. Let me rebuild this so that it has the root key available so I can get in. I think that should work. And I'll use that server alive interval. Actually, that might make this work as well, so let me add that here. I need to do a next build, come on. Do a next build. Okay, so that'll take a while. Let me keep writing this dodgy script I'm writing. Current load. What is current load again? Okay, looks like it can be empty. I don't think I've ever set that up before. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so maybe that's it. Oh, I have to do the SSH saying export that one. It's called that. Hopefully that'll be it. I'll just be cleaning up that shell script after I replace SSH with SOCAT if I can. I should be able to. There should be a way. Okay. So hopefully this connects, because I've copied the ID RSA key into the right place. Too many, oh really? That should work. Oh, bad permissions, of course. Let's do it again. Bad permissions on that key. Where did I copy it? There. What's the permissions? That'd be 400, I think. Okay, let's rebuild. Did it print out the instructions for me? No, ran it. Yeah, here we go. Here's the instructions. It's just a bit hidden. Change the owner, I might have to. I think because this is just an image, everything's owned by root. I don't think I'll have to change it because I think there's only one user. I think. So do you use a Mac, Paul? Is this why you're interested? Yep. And you need to build Docker images, I guess. Or you want to, at least. Oh, you've never used Nix? Oh wow, okay. Well, yeah, this is a bit of an introduction to Nix. Okay, you don't use Docker. Okay, so you don't use Nix, you don't use Docker. Okay. Just interested. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, this is not beginner Nix level stuff. That's cool. Hopefully you can follow it. Just here because of Idris. Oh, okay, awesome. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. So this automatically starts up now. Starts it up, connects. Hopefully keeps it alive. Well, hopefully... Have you done much with Idris? Have you tried it out after the videos? Cool. Have you done anything interesting with it? Or just played around? So nothing's on the path, and I remember this is because SSH doesn't like using environment variables. SSHD doesn't like doing environment variables, propagating them out. So it doesn't like to export that path that I've set above. So what do? I have to create like a dot profile or something, I think. You've exceeded the YouTube limits. I thought... Oh, there we go. Got disconnected again. That's annoying. Why? Got disconnected again. I wonder if... Hang on. So which word? Yeah, got to... Oh. Yeah, no, that's weird. That should have... I did put that flag on. Keep alive enable. Yeah, I set that up. Don't know why we got kicked out again. That's annoying. That's pretty annoying. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, okay, so I need to create a path as a profile anyway. So you've done 7 chapters of Edwin's book. I don't think I've read too much of Edwin's book. I don't know what chapter 7 is. Chapter 7 is interfaces. Okay. Oh, it looks like it goes straight into depend types like right after that. Like really into equality. Wow, okay. Yeah, it's cool. Cool, so I just have to add something to profile, I think. Okay, so I can do that. Looks like profile gets executed when you SSH in. So... So hopefully if I build this, the only thing that when you're creating a remote builder, the only thing that you need available is Nix build. I think that's pretty much the only thing that you need available. You just need Nix build available on the path. Nix doesn't know what version of Nix build it's going to be using on the remote thing, so it can't really specify the full hash or anything. So you just need Nix build on the path. For some reason SSHD doesn't like taking the path that you've launched SSHD with. Doesn't like using that, so it comes up with its own path, which is pretty annoying. So you have to set like a dot profile, I think. Oh, but dot profile only happens if you're interactive or something like that. There's some weird rules, whether it uses bash rc, bash profile, or dot profile. There's weird rules around that. I'll have to test them all out. I've hit this before. I don't know why it doesn't have a... Oh, it does. There you go, a couple lines above. That's the problem. So it just doesn't work with an interactive shell. It works if you cancel this build. I don't want that. So it won't work with an interactive build, but if I run it non-interactive, so if I actually supply the command I want to run from here, it should find Nix build. Yeah, there you go. It's actually running Nix. Okay, so I can run Nix. So now what I need to do is just export those environment variables that get printed out over here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Export these. I am going to make this script. I'm just going to do that. Here we go, Nix use remote builder. That looks okay to me. Cool. So let me source that. So that references the key, cool. Come on. And now I should be able to do Nix build. Fingers crossed this will actually build something. What do I have to do here? But I have to do, what is it, force system, isn't it? It's been a while since I've done this. Force system. There's force system over here. Force system, yeah. There we go. Packages, there we go. That's what I need to do. Let's build Nix. I have to build an expression. Ah, too easy because this already exists. That's right. What did I have to do before? Hello dot. What I'm doing there is using Nix to create a slightly different derivation, something that hasn't been existed before. So what happens is Nix has got this idea of a binary substitution. So if it already has built an expression, you can just download it, and it doesn't matter what platform you're on, if you're on Darwin or if you're on Linux or you're on Windows, it doesn't matter. If it can download that package for that system that it needs, it'll just go and download it from the cache. So because I'm saying download, I'm saying build a x86-64 Linux version of Hello, which is GNU Hello program, it'll go off to the cache that has Linux binaries in it and just download the Linux binary. So it doesn't matter if I'm on a Mac, it can just still get the binary. But this only works, of course, for things that have been built on a remote server. Of course, Hello is very common, so it gets built. So here I'm just saying override it and just change the name of it, and the name can actually impact how it gets built. So this should hopefully actually make it so that, yeah, here we go. Linux is required to build this, but I'm Darwin, so it's not finding the remote builder. I did not expect that to actually happen. It should have found the remote builder and started doing that. it's doing that. What does it say? I just want to see. Yeah. Maybe it's because this remote thing here. I've never seen that before. I think that's a recent addition. Let me unset that. Permission denied. Let me look at the Nix manual and figure out what I have to do, what I have to set that Nix remote to if I have to set anything. I'm just seeing if it makes a difference if it's an absolute half or not. Don't even know if it's trying to use the remote builder at all. It doesn't even seem like it's using this. Although I can set this debug flag, can't I, to figure that out? Isn't there a debug flag? Yeah, there you go. It doesn't even seem like it's doing that. It should be using that. It should at least have some debug info about it. So it should use, what is that thing? What's that? Yeah, it should use the Nix build hook. It should use that. I'm just going to test that out by writing my own build hook. See if it's even doing anything. Yeah, it's not even forking out to the hook, I don't think. That's a bit weird. Should use the hook. Let me read the next Darwin thing. There's a next Docker Darwin thing. Yeah, the next Darwin project just does pretty much what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on here. Next doesn't even seem to be trying to do a remote build. Pretty weird. It should be Linux is required to build that, but I'm a Linux a Darwin. Yep, that's true. Alright, thanks Paul, thanks for your help. Thanks for the SSH advice, that's awesome. I'm happy that I've got this working. Hopefully I can replace it with SOCAT and be even better. Thanks for your help. Hopefully I'll have this done by tomorrow. Hopefully. Catch up. Yeah, thank you. Get in. No. Get out. Get out. Get out. Doesn't seem to do anything with the hook. I'm gonna have to read the next source code. I've had this working before, why has it stopped working all of a sudden? Having some problem, yeah, I can't figure out. I'm setting. I'm gonna ask on Nick's Darwin channel on IRC. So setting the next build hook. I remember that it used to work. I wonder what's happened here. I wonder what's happened. Build hook's not even called at all. I think it's because I'm using this daemon, right? So that I don't have permission. That'll be it. That's probably it. What's that for? Envars. Yeah, I think that's the thing. So I'm meant to use build hook when running the daemon. Ah, bother. Oh, that's not how I thought this worked. That's super annoying. I think I need to set it for the next daemon. Alright, well that's causing some problems. Okay, that's the next problem I'm gonna have to solve. It's been annoying. I've got this reverse proxy working and everything. This would be related to the change that they've done recently when Nix on Darwin actually uses, Nix on Mac uses, it's set up with multiple user configurations, so it actually uses the daemons, so it does builds, so it goes through the daemon. And that would be the thing. So you have to actually supply the build hook when you start the daemon up. I think that's the difference now. Previously, because there was no daemon when you ran Nix on Darwin, you could just specify the build hook and it would just, when it goes to build, because it would be building using your user, it would just look up the build hook. And now, because it's in a daemon, you don't have control over that. So that's a bit of a problem. It sounds like I'm gonna have to make people add things to their remote systems configuration, so I'm gonna have to get people to add things to the Nix conf. And that's gonna be pretty annoying. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty annoying. I was thinking that I could probably unset the Nix daemon, but then the store, I don't have permissions to the store, so I can't do that either. So I'm gonna have to figure out what's the way forward here. I think I'm gonna have to make people add certain things to this and just hope that that it works. The one, like the SSH ops thing, there's going to be a problem because I'm setting SSH ops to do -p and then that. And so if people actually want to have other systems other than their little Linux kit container running, they won't be able to use that because they'll have to use the same port as whatever I choose. So that's a bit of a problem. I guess I could like say here's a custom SSH config, but then if they've got anything in their SSH config that they want to use, then that's not going to work either. I think that's what I'm going to have to do though. Choose a random port, and if you try and SSH into that host, the thing is the host is also going to have their name. Like if you look at where is it? In the remote systems, the name of the system is root at localhost, so like, that's not great. So I could have an SSH config that says if you're trying to connect to localhost, use this port. That's not really great, is it? I guess it would only be used by the daemon, which is what's this owned by? Nix build. So I can't even. It seems like if I wanted to do that as well, I'd have to set up an SSH config in each of the build users. And the build users are like, where are they? It's not that. I thought I set up, yeah, I set up a user. I did set up a user. Nix build. Yeah, there is a user there. I don't know who's inside of that group. I think there's like 10 different users that it sets up or something like that. I wonder if it's a Nix file. I think it looks up dynamically though. It's probably not. Yeah, I mean build users group, that's what it uses. So I'd have to set up like an SSH config in each of those, which would be really annoying, so I can't do that either. Yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna be kind of stuck here. There's no real solution to changing the build hook without doing heaps of work on the daemon side. I'll have to think about this. Think about that. There's also build substitution, which is another thing that I could look into a little bit. Build substitution might be a way to go, but I've looked into that, and I imagine if I can't do an SSH remote builder, I'll also have problems doing a build substitutor as well. So that's annoying. I'll have to think about this for a while and figure out what a solution is. Okay. Thanks for watching anyway. Hopefully I can figure this out and get back to it, and I'll probably try sometime soon to replace the SSH at least, so I've got just a clean socket to connect over, and that might fix up the SSH disconnection problems that I've been having. And then I'm done. I just need to set up the configuration and get Nix to work well with it. Like I've got something that I can SSH into and then build things. I just can't copy them across easily with the build substitution or the build hooks. So that's another thing. That's what I'm gonna have to spend some time thinking about. Okay then, thanks for tuning in.